Here we go. Okay, now it's streaming. Um, now we're streaming. Okay, so how's it going? We're live. What's up, man? How are you? Wait, I can't hear you. That's what we want to hear. That's what we want to hear. Um, so yes, we were talking where we left off last week. Well, first we left off last week was basically um, we spoke about like Aliyah and different ways people can move to Israel and make it more efficient for them, have an easier time landing. Um, could you tell us about that a little bit? Wow. Mm-hmm. Of course. Hmm. Yes. Agreed. Hmm. Yeah. Whoa, we did it! That's a nice amount. Yeah, you go to the beach, you go to the Temple Mount, you have a good time. Yes.
For a job to make a living? How am I going to support my family? Going 30 years back when we were analyzing what are all the problems and how we can come up with solutions, the concept of isotopic housing came in. And of course, over the decades and much money, blood, sweat, and tears, technologies, a symphony of technologies were developed that together allow a home, an isotopic housing piece of home simply means standing alone, meaning it doesn't need infrastructure for your water, which we get out of air as heavenly waters, or
For a job
your
to make a
electricity. You
living.
don't
How
need
am
to
I going to
power the
support my
company.
family? It's more than 30 years. Sorry,
And
what's up?
yeah, well, if we're on live, you should mute yourself if I'm
No,
talking.
I was just checking that the audio was working. I was just for some reason. Someone in the chat box said they can't hear well,
Getting
so I just had to double
the
check.
getting solution.
But I think it was just his. I
We
think it was just his problem. And so we sound good. We're crystal clear.
important that people hear us, not just.
Yeah, no, there's someone saying that they can't hear us well. But I think bro, you gotta check your computer. And then I can hear it well. So yes, you're saying is
I hear you, and so do you
I
hear
can
me?
hear
All
you. I
right.
can hear. I can hear you too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can hear you too.
Okay. Well, anyways, getting back to the solution. So we decided that in order, for to turn the paradigm on its head, first of all, we have to decentralize everything. So whether it's your water, your electricity, uh, you're treating the sewage. So we have a
How would you?
technology
How
called
would you? Where would
Megagas.
you get like electricity or water from if it's not from the government?
I just told you weren't listening.
I'm saying,
The perfect housing concept. You know what? Let me show you. I'll share my screen,
mhm.
and you can watch a short video that shows the whole thing. All right? Is that something your audience may like it? All
Let's see.
right?
Let's see what's going on.
Sound good? Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Select window, entire screen, allow. There we go. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Let's go live.
The best way to predict the future is created. Abraham Lincoln. Okay. So these are solar panels. There's no audio
Michael,
coming from the video, by the way. Okay, this is also a wow. What is what is that? That's just like okay, but I get I see that this house, but how does this help someone? How does this house really get its own water and stuff? Like okay, electricity I get from like the solar panels and stuff, but how does someone get their own water in here?
if you watch or be quiet, you'll see.
Like, if I, there's no audio here, but
Just be patient. Be
okay.
patient.
But I can't really hear you so clearly. I can't really. It's like coming in and out. Plastic machine. Doesn't matter. What is doing guy for these toys for processing? What's it saying?
slopes for the greenhouses, filters for whole sewage and process wastewater. These new technologies are revealing which will be including engaging patients and solutions payment display levels. They new decentralized, distributed, incentivized, payments internet utilizing non-profit devices technology and new end-to-end process learning outcomes, which will truly enable neutrality free from biases and information, government control, or simplification of their skills. Short video, internet, people, and people, plus provide additional cost linking, create additional wealth rates. Structure providing mostly automated, looking poly greenhouse, as well as products set up for using food. You also have food trees including this one, the Morelia tree, this known as the miracle tree, which is considered a superfood that can be grown in nature. We would like to call on Kevin Squares in the room to share our vision to support this fantastic project today, making a generous travel contribution. We it was your foundation. Thank you.
Wow, that
There you
looks like
go.
some
Now
sort
you
of
have a million questions. Now you can ask questions.
that looks like some sort of
What's this
insane
all?
futuristic utopia. But let's say,
Utopia. Well, I mean, listen, we've been working on this for decades, and Magnagas was a public company. I mean, these are things I've been involved in for decades.
wow.
Is you can be kind of like a conductor of this technological symphony. Okay, there's a
Hmm.
lot of moving here. Now, the nomadic version you saw, that's the 40-foot container that you can take anywhere and you plop it down and it push a button and it opens up to a big, nice house.
Yeah.
Nomadic version, but there's what we use also, we call technologies called rapid deployment, low cost construction technologies. They're houses built in place, but within 1 week, you can have a beautiful house, you know, and we have this 3D printing technologies that, are also under development, new building materials themselves. So lots of exciting stuff. Now the concept is that instead of you being a slave for four walls and put a meal on your table, the home actually provides a living for you. So this will be when humanity goes this direction, we will turn the paradigm on its head, and then it'll truly be true Independence Day, because
Wow.
we want people to be able to be independent and not and this is all decentralized. So it's not you can be cut off. Okay, they want you to be dependent. Okay, our systems, our industrial society that we've built over the last 100 years is an exact opposite of nature. It's destroying nature. Now, I love technology, but technology can live in symbiosis and harmony with nature without destroying us. Like, you're in a boat and the guy next to you is taking an axe and he's like smashing the floor of the boat. Well,
Hmm.
obviously, you're going to do something, dude, because, we're all in the same boat and not, we're going to have to force to throw him overboard if he wants to be in the ocean so much. But,
Yes,
the,
I love
the
it. I
many,
love it. The nomadic version is perfect for the hilltop youth. You just pop up on a hilltop. Um, what I wanted to ask you was, let's say someone with the water system, like how much does something like that cost? Like, is that like, uh-huh? You can't hear me? You can't hear me?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, kind of crackly, but
Like it's cutting in and out?
Yeah, kind of.
Um, that's weird. I'm wearing a microphone. Um, 1 second.
I can hear you now. I
You
can
can
hear
hear
you
me
now.
now?
I can. So ask a question while I can hear you.
Okay, so let's say how much does this water system cost? Like if someone wants how much does that something like that cost to get in your house? Like a nomadic water system that creates water in your own house.
Where, this machine you saw in the video, those are large. Those are larger machines that are producing water requirements for, let's say, a family of five. This is producing about 1,000 liters a day. Of course, you can add more of those, but the units that you can buy readily, they're small. They look like a small water cooler. That's just taking water out of the air. Well, the air conditioner makes water out of the air. Of course, it's not for drinking, but we've developed technologies to move away from the compressor technology, which is the 100-year-old technology to extract water from air, which is a very inefficient way to do it. It requires a lot of electricity. So let's say you were in a desert, and that technology wouldn't work. It's just low humidity. Okay, really, I actually got the idea from the word in Hebrew shamayim. Shamayim. There is the water. And I started researching it. Said, wait a minute, 300,000 cubic kilometers of water under our nose at all times? Wow! Enough for humanity, plants, the animals, and it's a hydrological cycle. It never goes away. So, and it's decentralized. I can make it anyway. I don't have to desalinate seawater, which is very expensive and environmentally not very friendly. And then you have to put infrastructure in place to move the water to where it needs to be used. So this does away with all those problems. We want to decentralize everything. Your water, your electricity, your sewage treatment, your fuel, your food production, your communications. Everything in our current society is centralized, top down. Okay. And when it's centralized and top down, it's not secure, because when you attack that central point, then everyone else is out. Okay. If you knock down a cell tower for, let's say, a mobile phone, right? Mobile phone, then everyone in the area that's close to the cell tower is not going to get service. Okay, so our systems by nature centralized, mostly because it's easier to control. The reason for not control, but it does open all sorts of decentralized things. Even the internet, we have Portal, QORTAL .dev or .org.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do internet. Name of by for the people, okay? And you can't be censored, can't be shut down, even by government. By design, is highly functional. We have Qmail, which is the most secure, even though it's active today. Anyway, but we have a bounty for that. We have QTube, they're replacing YouTube, and Qblog. You can do, we'll host your website for free forever. We got
Really?
rid of
Host?
DNF.
Wow. Host?
Uh, I can share my screen again and just, show you here. 1 second, entire screen. Here we go, allow. Here we go. I'm already in it, but we made it really simple so that people didn't need to download and install any software. Although, if you want to run your node locally, then you would do that. We wanted to make it no brainer that people could use it for their mobile phone, didn't matter what platform. So we use the plugin that goes through browsers. Okay. So for example, we have QTube. Okay, this is QTube. You can load up when you get your name, your account, then you can do anything you want. You can publish blogs. Okay, you can publish videos. If you want blogs, here's a blog, Q blog. Okay,
Is it? Are there a lot
Q
of creators though on it?
What's that?
Are there a lot of like creators? Like, there are a lot of people like uploading videos and content and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that?
Global. This is not an experiment. This is for real and highly functional. We have our own decentralized exchange. That's Q Trade. We have Q Share, Q Fund. There's a lot of apps, and the nice thing about Portal is that you can build anything you want on anything. It's just in Java. It's built in Java, so you can build anything you want. And we're also soon we're working now on Q assets, so people can have live, real world assets that are back, uh, those that are backed by what they call RWA, real world assets, and it's their own blockchain, like Ethereum. Everyone's on someone else's blockchain, so it's easier to jerk someone's chain in that condition. But anyways, it's very easy to get into it. I'll stop this right now. Let me copy that. Here, I'll just show you how. So if you go to the link, so you don't need to download anything, hub.portal.link, and you go in. So it'll you can put in your account, okay, or you can create an account. So you do that one time, and you pick a username and a password. And if you already have an account, you just click account, and you can go right into your account. That's the way it works.
Wow, that's wow.
I'm going into the account.
It's pretty next level. This is pretty next level. So you could keep everything secure and everything like that. It's pretty cool.
And it can never be shut down, not even by government. Well, see, I'm in.
Wow.
This is the Solution Revolution account. So yeah, I just set it up. But anyways, it's this is how easy it is. So you don't even need to download it. It's meaning although if you do want to mint, we don't do mining, we do minting. To mint to mine a Bitcoin, it takes 36 megawatts. So that's not very egalitarian. So what we did was we wanted to go back to Satoshi Nakamoto's original white paper, where this entire crypto economy was egalitarian, meaning everyone would have access to it, okay, on anyone's computer. But big tech jumped in and said, hey, let's make expensive ASIC miners to mine it. Let's require like a massive power plant next to it to make power this rig. And let's set up exchanges. So we're taking something that was supposed to be peer to peer, decentralized, end to end encrypted, and peer to peer. And that idea was thrown out the window. So what we have is we have exchanges which are centralized. We have Bitcoin mining. You know who has the most hash power for Bitcoin? The Chinese. Why? They subsidize their electricity. They have much more electricity than any other country. They're putting coal plants online every week. Okay. While other countries are shutting down. So they could do a 51% tap, meaning that they could reverse transactions. Now we have quantum computing, like here at our doorstep, which would be able to also reverse cryptographic hashes. A lot of these cryptos are based on. So, we put a lot of thought going way, way into the future. And we decided, because the internet is a very powerful, look how it's transformed the world. That people can educate themselves, communicate, and get together. It's a very powerful tool. But then it's been monetized by big corporations, just like with Bitcoin. They did what Bitcoin did with all the other, with the internet. They monetized, they give you free shit on the internet. You know why it's free? You're the product. There's no free, like you create digital breadcrumbs every second. that you're connected to the system, okay? And they sell you all day, every day to the lowest bidder, even. Anyone will give them money for your information, okay? For many different reasons. And also censoring what information gets out
Yeah,
there,
that's a
what
huge problem.
the portal fixes all of that. So if you want to escape the digital gulag, which is the current legacy internet, welcome to Corner. It's free. You can join any pedigrees or belong to any elite clubs, and you can now communicate freely and with others, and you could produce content and never have to worry about shit. And no one can censor you. You built it into Portal, even the founders. I'm a co-founder. I've been with the project for 3 years. It's an amazing project. It crypto space for 10 years, since 2014, almost 15. And it's one of the most amazing projects. It's grassroots. No ICO was done,
Wow.
because ICOs are pump and dump scams. We saw a lot of that happen. Very unregulated space. It was the wild, wild west. It still is the wild, wild west. But and this project's been going on for over 12 years. Didn't happen yesterday. It's not per se. There is a crypto evolve called Quart, QORT, but it's not per se a crypto project. It requires the crypto coin the system to operate, but it's not per se a crypto project, and it's highly undervalued by maybe 1,000 times.
Wow.
It's not a joke. You take Dogecoin. Dogecoin is one of the top 10 cryptocurrencies. Do you know the history of Dogecoin? It was set up as a joke.
It's
It
yeah,
still
yeah.
is.
Elon Musk was just pumping it.
The only thing you can do is look at your wallet and hope it's going up and not down. And there's a bigger fool to buy from you when you decide to sell it. You know what I mean? There's no value. I don't believe that unless there is real value behind your cryptocurrency, whether it's a token or a coin, which most people don't know the difference between a coin and a token. A coin has its own blockchain. Most of the tens of thousands of tokens that are on Ethereum, they're not even tokens. They're smart contracts. People don't even know that.
So wait,
People are
I
ignorant.
want to circle back real quick. To what we were talking about. Um, how much like someone wants to move to Israel, okay? Someone wants to move to Israel. They want to get these water systems. They want to get these electricity systems. They want to do it. They want to go all in. They want to make the investment. They want to come here. They want to get. They want to take water from the sky,
Uh,
mine from the Shemayim.
well, you're
They want to
asking
do the
how
whole
do we
thing.
roll this out? No, this is a very good question. There's a lot of thought that went into it. Okay, so Jews wanted to make Aliyah, and of course with these technologies, right? Their lifestyle is gonna kind of change. It's not gonna be 9 to 5 grind, and so we go to a project called boot camp, just like camp, right? Because coming to Israel, and you need to be prepared. You're not just changing addresses. Like I said, we're talking about different cultures, a different language, different economic reality, all sorts of challenges that Americans do not have experience dealing with. That's why they go 80% go broke. You got to be really hardcore to stick it out and figure it out and keep your roots here. It's not like I live, thrive, and thrive on 5 continents and dozens of countries. I go where I need to go, when I need to go. But Israel's, and of course in upstate New York, although we're moving from New York, we'll be going to Texas. A lot of good stuff going there. That's ground zero for a lot of action and a lot of good things. We'll be 15 minutes down the road from Alon. Hey, Alon, if you're listening, it's time to upgrade you from using rockets.
Yeah,
It's
he's
into
Elon's
the
usually
crops.
he's usually watching. He's usually watching. Obvi-
Not
especially during this
random.
time.
But personally, it's been politically misguided. And I say that from love. I love, his passion and what he's been able to accomplish. But, if you're going to take mankind to Mars, oh my God. But if you can't build an isotopic community, let's say an off-grid community in the middle of the desert, okay, then we have no business sending people to Mars yet. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So we should have a challenge. Each one gets 100 million. You go out in the middle of the bloody desert and you make a sustainable community that you've got everything you need: electricity, water, food, shelter, communication, everything you need. 3D printers that'll print you any object you need. You know, essentially, we have to change the paradigm of a consumer society where we're consuming, consuming, consuming. We don't produce anything. We're relying on everyone else, even for your job. Now, so-called in a democracy, so people are in an illusion and delusion that they're free and have choice, but it's debt slavery. They're in a rat race. They're not part of the human race. They're in a rat race. So they got to get off the treadmill and join a kind of a different lifestyle. So getting back to, we kind of segued on what we want to do and how we see it, is that we're going to build these kind of communities in the United States where a large portion of the Jewish population resides, which, New York, Florida, Los Angeles, probably the three big centers, but, I wouldn't do it, but, far away. We're going to, they're going to be communities built in the middle of nowhere. That's the whole point. Is that
So
they'll
why
say,
are you doing it
"Oh,
in the United States? Why don't you do it here, like in the Negev?
what?"
Why don't you do it like here, like in the Negev?
Okay, so just to give you a little history, this isn't from yesterday. In 2019, I we established my parents' 501c3. My mother, she was the administrator, and she got ill, so she's a very unique case. But then when they passed away, I had to instate the foundation. And we came to Safi Megdi, who at the time was the minister of the Shafim, Judea and Samaria. There were, don't forget, 5 elections too during a very short period of time. And he so much loved the isotopic housing project, he said, "It has more significance than putting a man on the moon." Because, putting a man on the moon, it didn't do a whole lot to free mankind being a slave to four walls and putting a meal to people. So they had very big significance to him. But then we had elections again, and he was not in that position. We were supposed to get like $15 million budget to do it. We had the land there. We even got the approval from the local council to build it. And then shortly after COVID happened, and after that, the world changed completely. Nothing is the same since then. We've improved various different technologies. All these things when you want to, when you're in research and development mode, and we fund everything ourselves. No governments, no philanthropists, nobody. Just grace of God. When it comes to scaling technology, it's very capital intensive. So you have a thing like you spend all the money on R&D, building prototypes and pre-productions and production model and all that other stuff. But then when you want to scale it up, it takes capital. This stuff with Hocus Pocus doesn't build itself. Although we're working on that too, we have a robotics company we just started, which the robots are going to be construction and agricultural robots. Nobody's really working in space because most robots more than 25 kilos, you can't build and do heavy lifting with weakling robots. People are afraid of AI and robotics. Getting ahead of the curve. Look at some bad actors and listen. All technologies are a double-edged sword, but we need to embrace it and make it the best it can be for serving humanity. All the doom and gloom and that they're going to take over. There's a lot of hype with the AI and robotics. And I'm not saying that it hasn't progressed a lot. AI does not reason at all. It's just a fancy prediction machine. You know, like when you type on your keyboard and it predicts the next word you're going to type. In most cases, it's the word you're going to type. So our current state of AI is the same on steroids. And it's a great tool to make whoever you are a better version of yourself. You know, you could be more productive. You could do things faster, quality time. You know, a lot of work that people do today, it's mind-numbingly boring. Like for me, some tasks are so mind-numbingly boring, but if there's no one else but me to do it, I'm stuck with it. Well, now with AI, well, it's not the case. You can give all the mind-numbing, boring work to the AI. Okay, agents, agentic agents. We're building our own, you know, and running it locally. Because if you're going to run anything on a cloud-based AI, basically you're teaching everything you put into it. You're training the large language model. And again, it's not reason. It's just, you know, guess. But it's a great tool, and people need to start using it.
AI.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
I'm sure. I mean,
going to take
I'm
people's
sure most
jobs.
people already use it. I mean, I don't know many people. I don't know many people who are not using AI.
Yet not using it in the right way, everybody. And listen, you know how I test an AI, how accurate it is? And you can try this anywhere at home. Ask any AI large language model of the most popular ones. How many genders are there? Now you say, well, every 3-year-old can answer that question. Two, male, female. You know, rare exception of morphodite is double, but that's, you know, a biological anomaly. But, you know, if you type to the AI how many genders there are, you're going to get like 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 paragraphs on the subject. And on Grok, it tells you there's over 200 genders. I'm like, whoa. Anyways, it's a very dystopian, you know, whatever. It's just not rooted in reality. So, you know, you
Of
got to
course not.
be
Of
a
course not.
tool. You cannot be a fool and accept everything that it says. You have to read it, critique it, you know. But and if you're sharing anything that's personal to you on the AI, it's no longer personal. The whole world now has it. Anything you're gonna type to the AI that's, let's say, an idea that you're developing or whatever. Once you put it in and once it's spit out the work product, it's available to the whole world if someone typed in the same search term that you did. So all your ideas are now open to the world. So, you know,
Okay.
people just need to be knowledgeable how to use these tools.
Yeah. I want us to go back to real quick. Where are people buying these eco-friendly homes in Israel? Are you going to sell them in Israel? Right? Because we approached this subject like talking about like for like Olim.
What we're doing is very revolutionary, revelationary at the same time. And you have to understand that the current paradigm wants you to be centralized. The current paradigm wants you to be dependent on everything: your electricity, your water, your food supply, your sewage, everything, your communication, your transportation, everything and every aspect of our life is controlled. Okay? So if you're going to bring technologies to people that are going to give them true freedom and independence, well, it's not really good for the business model of the current paradigm that exists that you and I know. Okay, so you know every revolution and revelation, it starts small and it grows and it goes viral. Okay, and so we're right at that stage, and what the reason that we're going to now have to fast track it is because of the issue of anti-Semitism. Now, this is a very important issue that I'd like to give a little time to.
Of
You
course.
know, anti-Semitism is something that doesn't really make any logical sense. I mean, how can you hate and despise and want to murder people who contributed more to humanity than anybody? Okay, through thousands of years. All the other empires are a dustbin of history, and we're still here, we're still standing. So, you know, you have to ask yourself, this seems kind of supernatural. It's like thousands throughout thousands of years, people that never even met a Jew in his life. But a Jew never did anything like the Iranians. Did we share a border? Did we take their land? Did we steal from them? I mean, what do we do to them?
Yeah.
It's just an insane hatred. And where do we find the root of the problem? Hashem in the Torah, in the five books of Moses, tells us that yes, you'll be unfaithful to me, and you will not stand up to your obligations to staying in the land of Israel, and you will be kicked out, and you'll be dispersed to the four corners of the earth amongst the nations, and yada yada yada. Which happened. And he warned them though. He said that don't try and be like the nations. The more you try to emulate them and copy them, the more they're going to hate you, not love you and accept you. And so God's kind of built in a mechanism where no matter how far a Jew may stray away from his heritage, from his roots, he's always going to remind you you're a Jew. Hitler, he went back 4 generations. The Jews were completely disconnected. They were heretics. Believe it, they were atheists. It didn't help. Okay? So, the what's happening, unless you light a fire under a Jew's butt, he doesn't move. He's comfortable. He's comfortable, he's good. I'm chilling here, everything I got is here. And so,
100%.
that's huge
I heard someone
nature.
say once that a goy buys an umbrella when it starts drizzling. A Jew waits till it starts pouring.
Exactly. He's full back. Way I can run between the range up. We're always, thinking out of the box, but the fact that 600% increase in the last year in anti-Semitism is showing us that it's not just in the United States; it's all over the world. We're seeing this. And it's a wake-up call to Jews. Now, the Jews in Europe, like in France and England and Belgium, it's not really Aliyah, it's more of a rescue mission. It's becoming, and it'll become more and more the case where it's a rescue mission, more than people just immigrating because they want to come to Israel.
I agree. I agree.
Thank God we didn't get there, but I think it's a wake-up call for American Jews to say, hey, it's all this stuff that's happening. What's going on? What's the message? What's the wake-up call? What's the takeaway? I mean, you gotta have to stop and turn out all the noise. Okay, there's a lot of noise. We need to focus on why is this all happening right now? Why is it increasing? Why so many things are going on, which are affecting the Jewish people globally. We're only over a little 15, 16 million people on the whole planet. If we were an animal, we'd be considered an endangered species.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say that, but I beg to differ. But it's people have to take a deeper look and see what are the reasons for anti-Semitism. And that's so that if that wasn't the case and there was no anti-Semitism, every nation in the world was conquered by another nation, and they genocided the indigenous population, and whoever was left alive assimilated to their culture. Okay, so if that was the case with the Jews, we would have never survived as a people to this very day, without a country, without an army, without anything. We still maintained our identity. I mean, here's a classic example. Take a jumbo jet and fly to every capital of the world. Pick up just 10 Jews, right? And now you're flying over the skies, and you got Jews from all over the world. And now it's Shachar, the morning prayer. They're all going to be putting on the same tefillin, wearing the same tzitzis, fringes, saying the same prayers, singing the same tunes, mostly, depending on their background. And how is that possible? They never met each other. They never talked to each other. They're doing the same thing our forefathers have done for thousands of years. Now, it's not everybody, but there is always that remnant, 20%. And, so in Egypt, by the way, 80% of the children of Israel, they were not a nation yet until they got to Mount Sinai. But 80% of the population died in the 3 days of darkness. He did not make it out of Egypt. Why? They had a slave mentality. They were into idol worship. They were like not with the program. And even the Jews that did get out of Egypt, they also had a slave mentality. And that's why they also did not enter Israel. They were 40 years in the desert. They got there in a little over a week, 2 weeks at best. What'd you need 40 years wandering around in the desert? Because they had a slave mentality. They were not, you would think after all the miracles that they've seen with their very own eyes, they wouldn't question it. But, they did. It was that mentality. But so we need to learn from our forefathers not to make the same mistake, not to be as smart people. Meaning, stick like I can't turn back and look back at our history and learn. History doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. You know,
So let me
over and over the same
so let me
thing.
ask you. So someone wants to escape the Gulls. Someone wants to come to Israel. He wants to get one of your smart homes. Is there a process? Could he do it? Could he buy it? I'm trying to figure that out from you. Is someone able to
Yes,
purchase his home?
okay. We're in the club because there's a lot of politics involved. If you're an Arab, you can buy a dunum of land for like $10,000. If you're a Jew, that same piece of land will cost a Jew 10 times that amount. Why? What's going on here? 75% of all the budget, the money of the Social Security, what we call Bituach Leumi, goes to the little over a million Arabs living inside of Israel, not the Jews. Now, you don't even know that. It's like a reverse discrimination. Uh, in Tel Aviv, now the municipality approached all the synagogues and told them, oh, you can't do what you want in your synagogue. You got to accept everyone in there. Just, come without, do whatever you want. I don't think that the Arabs in their mosque in Tel Aviv would respond very kindly to that. They would probably burn the municipality down to the ground. But not that I'm advocating any of this. So, in Israel, there's anti Semitism going on against observant Jews in our own country, which is ludicrous.
It's crazy. I agree.
States or in Europe or wherever. I'm in a town where we have now a lot of immigrants coming in from Argentina, from Colombia, especially Colombia. Colombia, we're getting along so well, their government with us, although we used to, but anti-Semitism in Colombia is through the roof. And people just don't feel comfortable in there coming to Israel. So, we're seeing continued influx of Jews. Now, to answer your question, because anything that has to do with government is very bureaucratic, take years. Even if I own land outright, it could take me, and I have 100 million in the bank, and I want to build something, community. It could take 5 to 10 years just to get.
It's crazy.
It doesn't matter. I have the money to build, ready to go, but I got to deal with bureaucrats for 5 to 10 years. Because Trump was in charge, that would not be the case. So maybe we can do something in Gaza, to deal with that issue and move them somewhere else so they can
We
have a
love it.
happier life.
Unbelievable. Trump Gaza. Okay, but in the end, so if let's say someone
Keeping
lives in
rough.
Ma'ale Adumim, so you're saying if
I
someone
agree
lives
with
in Ma'ale Adumim
you.
or something, and he wants to buy your house, the smart house, he's not able to. He can't buy it.
Okay, what we're going to be doing is we're acquiring land here, and we are going to do just that. We're going to start building. Now, in America, we're going to start building even faster because there I don't have all the politics. Israel's the only country in the world where the whole world gets to tell us where we can build and where we can't build. Show me one country on planet in the entire world where a country says where you can build a house or where you cannot build. If this is not retarded, we're this shit.
So I guess
It's
not
really
Manajimim,
motivating,
inside the made up green line, right? You want to get a smart house. You want to do it in the Negev. You want to do it in the Arava, places where the government's pushing people to go. That you can't get a greenhouse. You
We're,
can't.
we're going to be doing it. We're going to now fast track it. Of course, we have some investors that are interested and people that are, it's more than just investment, it's the future. It's not just for solving the problem, bringing Olim and having affordable homes and make a living. It's for the whole world. This entire concept of isotopic homes and isotopic communities where you're no longer a slave to four walls and putting a meal on your table. If you think about it, what does everyone mostly on the planet get up every day to do? They go to do some job, they work. Most of the time, they hate the job, hate the work, hate their boss, all the above, and they don't get paid very well, and they're on a treadmill. They're debt slaves, and that's not life. Let's say, how are you going to educate yourself? How are you going to learn new things? How are you going to spend quality time with your family? You wake up retirement age and look back and you're like, wow, my whole life went by. Didn't do nothing with my life. Didn't accomplish nothing. I was a debt slave. I'm still in debt. I don't know if I can even retire because money was worth this much back then, and that same money is worth half that amount. Gee, I guess I can't retire. And that's not life. So we're the solution revolution. We have solutions. Again, these solutions fly in the face of the current paradigm. So they're not making our life easy. And I don't expect that. If it was so easy, we won't be doing it and we wouldn't even be talking about it. It'll be like, you know, free truth goes through three phases, three stages. First, it's ridiculed and laughed at. Second, it's violently opposed. And third, it's accepted as self. Free truth goes through those three stages. So I can thankfully say that we passed the first two, where we were, stopped and laughed at. We passed the phase where we were being vehemently opposed and fought. And now we're in the stage where it's becoming to many people self-evident that this is a really good solution. And we, in science, as a scientist, we like to use the rule called Occam's razor. Maybe you don't know that. Most people never heard of the word. Occam's razor is a logic that you use when solving problems, trying to find a solution. And Occam's razor just means that usually the simplest and most logical solution is the answer. It is the solution. It's not complicated. It's not over the mountains. It's not over the seas. It's usually right in front of you. So just like people, when you're standing in a mirror, you're both looking at the problem, but you're also looking at the solution. You can't blame everyone else, what happens in your life. It's what you do with it. You can control other people, and we can barely control ourselves. But, we can use tools to transform because how we internalize it and don't let it get it down. Eat right, sleep like you should. Don't stress. You need to also, the health system is not healthcare, it's disease maintenance. And they built a society where everyone is going to be sick by design. It's because they want you as a client, cradle to grave, womb to tomb. It's a great business model. And everything is polluted: our air, our water, the electromagnetic smog. Everywhere you turn. And so no wonder we see so many. In America, 54% of children have chronic disease. This didn't used to be that way. And it all starts with the food supply. So we're very much into regenerative agriculture with our biochar. People can go visit our Tree of Life Biotechnology website, the subsidiary of the Family of Wisdom Foundation. It's a for-profit company. And everything we do for profit is in order to fund the nonprofit and continue research and keep supporting the scientists making all the major discoveries and breakthroughs. So it's really exciting. It's not easy. I can't say that it is. It's a big challenge. If some Jew or whatever, the non-Jew, we love you all. We're all, if you're a Jew or someone who loves a Jew, And welcome to the family of Israel, your family. Okay? We think there should be more fellowship amongst learned Jews, okay, and especially the spirit-filled Christian community. There's not enough dialogue. They really don't know enough about us, and
Yeah.
we are kind of sick. We're soaking dick slapped for 2,000 years, trying to gunfly. Not interested in standing out and talking, and that needs to change. We need to talk to our brothers and sisters. We're all one human family, one race, the human race, one kind, mankind. We all need to get together. Because if we don't hang together, then God forbid we'll hang separately by our own. Who said that? Benjamin Franklin. So,
Right.
we need to get more together. We need to start fighting each other over nonsense, complete ridiculous nonsense. We need
Yeah.
causeless love, not causeless hatred.
But
There's
I
so
don't know.
much
I don't know if,
we
as
want to
Jews, I don't
create.
think there's much we could do about
How
it. They're gonna hate us anyways, like you
seriously?
said before. So I want to get. When do you think this smart house will be available in Israel? Like, when do you think that's gonna be a thing?
Only Hashem know. I mean, the guy can come by tomorrow, an investor. We have a few people, that, but I don't like to discuss, certainly not in this forum, but because there's a lot of people who do not want to see this stuff happen, okay?
For
So
sure.
we'll keep that going. But I can happen tomorrow. It's all about money. Nothing, no magic here. We already did the heavy lifting. We did all the dirty work, so-called dirty work. We enjoyed the journey, but it was a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and tens of millions of dollars. This is all private. We're independent. No one pulls our strings. No one tells us what to research, what to say, what to think. We're trying to solve some of humanity's most pressing problems. And if you could solve the problem by implementing a concept like isotopic housing and isotopic communities, I think that'll usher in more peace, prosperity, and happiness than any single.
I agree.
We're even
I
going
agree
to
100%.
going to the moon. We're all trying to run away. Why are you running away? The earth is beautiful. I'm a skydiver. I love one planet. Oh my God, it's such a beautiful thing. Why are we trying to run away? Well, you're trashing the earth. You're just going to leave her like a piece of garbage. Come on, Mother Earth is insulted. How can we dare do that? So not that I'm not for spacefaring. I'm a Star Trek fan since I'm a kid, you know? I don't like technology, but we're not getting anywhere on rockets. So we have to make it clear to everyone who's trying to explore space. They're going to have to come talk to us and say, is there a better way? And yes, we have a much better way. And it doesn't include sitting on top of a controlled explosion built by the lowest bidder. Because there's a joke among astronauts. I have a few in my LinkedIn. And there's a joke. They have a special prayer before liftoff. One astronaut is looking to the other, and let's say the special prayer. And they're like, why are they saying this special prayer? And it's like, here we are sitting on controlled explosion built by the lowest bidder, and they do blow up. $1 million. I wish someone's giving me $100 million to do what we're doing. And I promise you, we won't blow anything up. No one, no, none. Nothing.
Of course.
And before we go to Mars, let's build a isotopic community. Let's say an independent, self-sustaining community in the middle of the desert. When we can do that, we can get off the rocket fuel and other things and also communication technologies. You think that the current telecommunication technologies, that's going to take, no, there's much better. And we follow nature. My formula in research is C square N. Comprehend and copy nature. Nature is far smarter than we are if we're just quiet enough and humble enough to observe nature and learn from her. And then
Right.
it's to copy. Make it better? No, that's too arrogant. Someone told me that they're going to be better than nature. I'll fire them. No, this guy's trouble.
For sure.
He's what? Made a mistake? Creator made a mistake? Well, I don't get it. You're smart. You're going to do it. I don't think so. You just need to understand nature, how smart she is. And we In Hebrew, it says das da, meditation and worship, but das madaf, which is science. So the more I study the created, the more I learn about the creator. If you see a beautiful being like the painting behind me, you know, just it's a copy of a Salvador Dali, my brother-in-law's an artist. So it's apparent to you that someone painted it. It didn't happen by itself. And they want us to expect that the entire universe, not just our world, but the entire universe, just happened by accident. Yes, totally. But it's no more possible in statistical probability than me spilling a bottle of ink on a page and it forms the letters, words, thoughts, and ideas by itself. It just won't happen. So, it's not, religion. It's not really connected. We're spiritual, not religious.
For sure.
Religion is
Professor, I
so
gotta jump off. I gotta take a 3:30. But it's a pleasure talking to you. I certainly learned a lot. I'm sure the people watching learned a lot. And continue doing the great work you're doing.
thank you. And if people like to read more, learn more, reach out, volunteer, do whatever they think they could do to move the nation forward and be part of the solution. So, like I said, if you're not part of the solution, then we're all part of the same problem. So they can go to familyofisrael.org and read, educate yourself, reach out, make suggestions, constructive criticisms. We love you all. Thanks for
Take
listening.
care.
God bless.
God bless. God
Take
bless.
care.
Take care.